My family. How often had I told myself that phrase over the years, trying to convince myself that everything I was doing was for them, that every sacrifice I made, every hour I spent away from home working, was worth it for the people I loved, most in the world. I thought I had it all figured out. But standing there in the living room of my daughter's house with a beautiful, hand-restored family heirloom in my hands, I realized how wrong I had been. I was Sophia, a mother, grandmother now, a woman who had poured every ounce of her energy into her family, her career, and making sure her children had a better life than she did. Lily, my oldest daughter, was 30 now, and to be honest, it felt like yesterday. She was just a little girl holding my hand as we walked through the park. I had always thought that when she grew up and started a family of her own, I'd be the one who helped her, the one who was there every step of the way. I imagined being her pillar, her guide, everything a mother should be. But life had a way of making me realize that nothing ever turns out the way you expect. The more I tried to give to Lily, the more I felt like she pushed me away. And that's exactly what had happened that day. The day I tried to surprise her. At her baby shower, it started with excitement. When I received the invitation, my heart swelled. Lily and Jacob, her husband, had decided to have a baby, and this was their first child, a momentous occasion. As soon as I opened the envelope and saw that familiar handwriting, I knew this was my chance to make things right. To remind Lily that no matter what, I was still her mother. I hadn't been perfect, but I had always been there when she needed me. At least, I thought I had been. For years, I had worked hard to provide for her, to make sure she never lacked anything. I knew that she wasn't always happy with the way I'd done things, but I also knew deep down that my intentions were pure. I had spent years trying to provide her with the best education, the nicest clothes, the safest environment. I thought of myself as the steady, dependable mother who always had her daughter's best interests at heart. But Lily had always been independent, fiercely so. Even when she was a child, she refused to accept help when she thought she could do things on her own. I admired that about her. It made me proud to see the woman she had become. But somewhere along the way, I had stopped seeing her as that little girl who needed me. I started seeing her as an adult, and I began trying to control things, thinking I knew what was best for her, especially as she got older. I pushed her to succeed, pushed her to achieve things I thought were important. I didn't always know how to give her the space she needed, and now I was beginning to realize the cost of that. The baby shower was the perfect opportunity to show her that I was still here for her, that I had learned from my mistakes. I wanted to surprise her with something special, something that would show her how much she meant to me. So, I spent days planning, carefully restoring a rocking chair that had been in our family for generations. It was more than just a chair. It was a symbol of the love and tradition that ran through our blood. The same chair my mother had rocked me in, and that I had rocked Lily in when she was a baby. It was a piece of our family's history, and I thought it would be the perfect gift for her child. I spent hours sanding, polishing and fixing the chair. Every time I touched it, I felt the weight of the memories, the laughter, the tears, the shared moments of joy and heartache. As I worked, I told myself that this was the gesture that would bring us closer. I pictured Lily's face lighting up when she saw it. I imagined the joy in her eyes, knowing that I had given her something so meaningful. It wasn't just a piece of furniture, it was a legacy. It was me, passing on the love and strength I had received from my own mother, hoping she would do the same for her child. But when the day of the baby shower arrived, the moment I had been anticipating with so much excitement, everything felt off. The moment I walked into Lily's house, I could sense a strange atmosphere. The decorations were beautiful. The gifts were stacked high. but there was something in the air. It was like a cloud that hung between us, a tension that I couldn't shake. Lily wasn't her usual self-bubbly and full of energy, no. She seemed distant, even cold. "Hi, Mum," she greeted me, but the words didn't feel like they used to. They didn't carry the warmth I had come to expect from her. It was as if there was an invisible wall between us that I couldn't see but could definitely feel. I tried to smile, to offer her the chair, but she didn't seem interested in it at all. "Mum, I need to talk to you," she said, her tone softer than usual but still clipped. She motioned for me to follow her into the other room, away from the bustling crowd of guests. "Sure, honey," I replied, trying to shake off the growing knot in my stomach. We walked into the living room, and for a moment, I thought we might sit down and chat like we used to. But instead, Lily turned toward me, her eyes flashing with a mixture of frustration and sadness. "Mum," she began, her voice quieter now. "I've been thinking a lot, and I need to say something. It's been a long time coming, but I can't hold it in anymore." I felt a surge of panic rising in my chest. What was this? What was happening? I had done everything right, hadn't I? I had been supportive. I had given her the space she needed over the years, hadn't I? "I don't want to hurt you," she continued, "but I need you to understand something. I've been feeling smothered for a while now. The way you've been trying to control everything, my decisions, my choices, my life, it's too much. And it's been going on for years, even before the baby came." My heart began to race. Control? Had I been controlling? I didn't mean to. I loved her. I wanted to be there for her. But as the words tumbled out of her mouth, I started to see that maybe, just maybe, I had been too much. She paused for a moment, her lips trembling slightly. "I love you, Mom, but sometimes I feel like you don't trust me to make my own decisions. I need you to step back, to give me the space I've been asking for." The words hit me like a punch to the gut. I had always thought I was being helpful. I thought I was supporting her, guiding her in the best way I knew how. But instead, I had suffocated her. I had wrapped her in the love I thought was perfect, without ever considering if it was what she truly needed. "Lily, I tried to speak, but she raised her hand, stopping me. "Mum, I'm not saying you don't love me. I know you do. That love isn't about doing everything for someone. Love is about letting them grow, about trusting them to make their own mistakes and their own choices." I was speechless. The room felt like it was closing in around me. My daughter, the girl I had raised, the one I thought I knew better than anyone, was telling me that I had done everything wrong. And the worst part was, she was right. The chair, the one thing I had worked so hard on, the symbol of my love, felt like an object in my hands. It no longer seemed to have the meaning I had attached to it. It was just a thing, and all the emotions I had poured into it now felt hollow. "You've crossed a line, Mom," Lily said softly, almost sadly, but with finality. "And I need you to respect that. I can't have you at the baby shower tomorrow. Please don't come." My chest tightened, and for a moment, I thought I might collapse. The shock of her words hit me harder than I could have imagined. I had been banned from the one event I had dreamed of being part, the one event that should have brought us closer, not pushed us apart. "Please, Lily," I whispered, the tears starting to well up in my eyes. "I just wanted to be part of your life. I thought this would bring us closer." And in that moment, as she turned away from me, her back cold and distant, I realized that the gap between us was wider than I had ever feared. The door closed between us, and I was left standing there with nothing but a broken heart and the family heirloom in my hands. That was the moment I knew things would never be the same. The days after Lily's harsh words felt like an eternity. The silence was unbearable. I kept replaying the conversation in my head, trying to understand what went wrong, where I had gone wrong. The rocking chair still sat in my living room, untouched, a painful reminder of the love I had tried to give, and the rejection I had felt. My hands trembled every time I looked at it. How had something so simple, so pure, turned into a symbol of my failure? I had spent the night in my car, parked outside Lily's house, waiting for some sign that maybe I had misunderstood. Maybe she didn't mean what she said. But deep down, I knew that was just wishful thinking. She had made her decision. She didn't want me there. She didn't want me at her baby shower, the one event I had been counting down to for months. I had dreamed of being there, holding her hand as she went through this monumental moment in her life. I wanted to be part of her journey, to share in the joy of becoming a mother, to be the grandmother she could count on. But instead, I was standing outside, feeling more like a stranger than ever before. I tried calling her again the next day, hoping that if I just explained myself, maybe she'd understand. I wasn't trying to control her life, I just wanted to help. But each time I dialed her number, I hesitated. I couldn't bring myself to call her, to push myself further into her life when she had clearly asked me to back off. I sent messages, but none of them were answered. It felt like I was invisible to her now. It wasn't just the lack of contact that hurt. It was the overwhelming feeling of being shut out, of having my entire relationship with her crumble in front of me. I couldn't understand why my attempts to show her love were being rejected. I had always been there for her, through thick and thin. And yet, here I was standing on the outside of her life, unable to fix anything. The day of the baby shower arrived, and I couldn't bring myself to stay home. I had thought about going, just showing up, even if I wasn't invited, just to be near her. But something inside me told me that would only make things worse. If I went, I would only be adding to the tension, to the hurt. So, instead, I spent the day in a haze, wandering aimlessly around the house, trying to distract myself from the pain. I thought about all the times I'd been there for Lily. All the moments I had held her hand as she faced the world. I had been her protector, her guide. But somehow my protection had become a burden to her, a weight she no longer wanted to carry. I had pushed her too hard, I had been too much, and now she was pushing me away. I thought back to when Lily was a little girl. She had always been independent, always determined to do things on her own. I had admired that about her. I had always thought that if I could just give her everything I didn't have, she would see how much I loved her. But now I realized that, in trying to give her everything, I had taken away her ability to make decisions for herself. I had smothered her with my love, my expectations, my constant need to control everything. I hadn't trusted her enough to make her own choices, and that was the one thing she needed most. I spent that afternoon sitting alone in my living room, staring at the photos on the wall. There were pictures of Lily as a child, pictures of her graduating from college, pictures of our family together, happy moments, moments I had cherished. But they all seemed distant now, like they were from another lifetime. The phone call came later that evening. It wasn't from Lily. It was from Jacob, her husband. I had hoped it would be her, that maybe she had reconsidered, that she wanted to talk. But instead, it was him. "Sophia, it's Jacob," he said, his voice calm but firm. "Lily asked me to call you." My heart skipped a beat. Was this finally it? Was this the moment she would open up to me? "I'm listening," I said, trying to keep my voice steady, though my hands were shaking. "Look, Sophia," he continued, "Lily is upset. She's not angry, she's just hurt. She's been feeling overwhelmed, and she didn't know how to tell you. She loves you, she really does, but she needs space. And right now, she needs you to respect her wishes. This is a big time in her life, and she doesn't want to feel like she has to keep defending her boundaries. His words hit me like a ton of bricks. I could feel the tears welling up in my eyes, but I fought them back. I didn't want to cry. I didn't want to show how weak I felt. I understand, I said quietly, my voice thick with emotion. I just want to be part of her life. I want to be there for her, for the baby. I know, Sophia, Jacob said. But right now, she needs you to give her space. You're her mother, but she's also an adult. She's going through a lot, and she's trying to figure things out. Just give her time. I nodded, though I knew he couldn't see me. Okay, I said softly. I'll give her space. And with that, the conversation ended. I hung up the phone and sat in silence. The weight of everything that had happened settled on my shoulders, heavier than I had ever felt before. I had always thought that no matter what happened, no matter how much we argued or disagreed, Lily and I would always be close. But now, I wasn't so sure. It felt like the walls between us had been built brick by brick, and I was the one who had unknowingly laid the foundation for them. I couldn't just tear them down overnight. I couldn't fix this as easily as I wanted to. But I also knew that if I didn't give her the space she asked for, if I didn't respect her boundaries, I might lose her for good. For the next few weeks, I stayed away. I didn't call. I didn't show up uninvited. I gave her the space she needed, even though it tore me apart to do so. I hoped with every fiber of my being that this was just a phase, that in time we would be able to heal. But the silence was deafening. It felt like I was slowly fading out of her life, and I didn't know how to stop it. Lily didn't reach out to me. She didn't send any messages, didn't call. I didn't know if she was angry or just trying to process everything on her own. But with each passing day, the distance between us seemed to grow. The rocking chair remained untouched. The family heirloom I had worked so hard on now, a symbol of the space between us. I thought about the baby, my future grandchild, and wondered what kind of relationship I would have with them. Would I be part of their life, or would I remain a distant memory of the grandmother who couldn't get it right? I couldn't help but wonder if there was a way back, a way to fix what had been broken. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized that maybe it wasn't up to me. Maybe it was up to Lily now. Maybe the only thing I could do was wait for her to decide if she wanted me in her life again. And so, I waited. But I didn't know how long I could keep waiting, or how long it would take to rebuild the bond that had once been so strong. All I knew was that I couldn't give up on her. Not yet. Not ever. Weeks passed, and the silence between Lily and me stretched longer than I had ever imagined. Every day felt like a test of patience, and every moment felt like an eternity. I spent my mornings staring at the rocking chair, still untouched, sitting in the corner of my living room, mocking me with its silence. I couldn't help but wonder if Lily would ever sit in it, if she would ever allow me back into her life. I had given her the space she asked for, but in doing so, I felt like I had lost the last threads of our connection. It wasn't just the silence that hurt, it was the uncertainty. I didn't know what she was thinking. I didn't know if she missed me or resented me. I didn't know if she was still processing everything, or if she had decided that I had no place in her life anymore. And that uncertainty, that not knowing, was a constant ache in my heart. At first, I tried to distract myself. I worked harder, threw myself into my job, and spent time with friends who were kind enough to listen to my concerns. But no matter how much I tried to fill the void, the truth was always there, hanging over me. I missed my daughter. I missed the way she used to laugh, the way she used to turn to me for advice. I missed being part of her world. But even though the days dragged on, I respected her wishes. I didn't call. I didn't show up uninvited. I knew that if I pushed too hard, if I didn't give her the space she needed, I could lose her forever. So, I waited. And then one day, out of the blue, I received a text from her. My hands trembled as I looked down at the screen. Mum, can we talk? My heart skipped a beat. Was this it? Was this the moment I had been waiting for? I didn't even wait to think. I immediately replied, "Of course, Lily. When and where?" She didn't respond right away, and the anticipation nearly drove me mad. But when she finally texted back, my heart sank. "Let's meet at the park at 3 p.m. I've been thinking about everything, and I need to say some things." I stared at the screen for a moment, my mind racing. She wanted to meet. She wanted to talk. But what did that mean? Was she still angry with me? Was this the moment when she would finally tell me that she didn't want me in her life anymore? I arrived early, trying to calm the storm of emotions brewing inside me. The park was quiet, the kind of place where the world seemed to slow down, where you could catch your breath and gather your thoughts. I stood by the bench, watching the families go by, wondering if my own family would ever be whole again. Would Lily forgive me? Would she ever see me the way she once did? At 3 p.m. sharp, I saw her walking toward me, her head down, her steps slow and deliberate. She had changed since the last time I saw her. Her face seemed older, a little more worn, but still beautiful. Still my daughter. I stood up, my heart pounding in my chest. She looked at me but didn't say anything at first. There was an awkward silence, a distance between us that seemed to widen the longer we stood there. Finally, she spoke. "Mum, I've been thinking about everything. About what I said. About what you said. And I want to start over." She paused, taking a deep breath. "I've realized that I didn't handle things the right way. I didn't give you the chance to explain yourself. I didn't listen to you." My heart began to race, and I felt a lump form in my throat. Was this real? Was she really saying this? "I was hurt, Mum," she continued. "I've been carrying around a lot of anger for a long time, and it just built up. But I know now that it wasn't just your fault. I didn't give you the space to be a mother, and I didn't give myself the chance to heal from all of it." I could hardly believe my ears. I had spent so many sleepless nights wondering if this day would ever come, wondering if my daughter would ever acknowledge the pain I had caused her, but more importantly, if she would be willing to work through it. "I'm so sorry, Lily," I said, my voice cracking. "I never meant to hurt you. I thought I was doing what was best for you. I thought I was being the mother you needed. But I see now that I was wrong. I was overbearing. I didn't give you room to breathe." She nodded, her eyes softening. "I know you love me. I know you were just trying to protect me. But I needed to find my own way, Mom. I needed to figure things out on my own. And I didn't know how to ask for that." For a moment, we just stood there, the weight of everything between us hanging in the air. I could see the walls that had once divided us slowly beginning to crumble. I reached out, my hand trembling, and placed it gently on hers. "Can you forgive me?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. She squeezed my hand, a small tentative smile forming on her lips. "I already have." And just like that, I felt a wave of relief wash over me. The burden I had been carrying for so long, the guilt, the fear, seemed to lift in an instant. I hadn't expected forgiveness to come so easily, but here it was, in the softening of her gaze and the warmth of her touch. We spent the next hour talking, really talking, for the first time in a long time. She told me about her fears for the future, about the struggles she faced becoming a mother, and how she had struggled to find the balance between needing me and wanting her independence. I listened, really listened in a way I hadn't in years. I understood now that being a mother wasn't about fixing everything. It was about supporting, listening, and sometimes stepping back when they needed space to grow. When we said our goodbyes, it was different this time. It wasn't a goodbye filled with pain or anger. It was a goodbye that felt like the beginning of something new. Something that would take time to rebuild, but would be stronger because of the brokenness we had faced together. In the weeks that followed, Lily and I worked on our relationship. It wasn't an easy process, and there were moments when old habits resurfaced, when I wanted to step in and solve her problems for her. But this time, I caught myself. I respected her boundaries. I learned to hold back, to let her take the lead. I let her come to me when she was ready, and I learned to be there when she needed me, not when I thought she did. We still had a long road ahead of us, but for the first time in years, I felt hopeful. Hopeful that I could be the kind of mother Lily needed me to be. Hopeful that we could create a new relationship, one built on understanding, trust, and mutual respect. The rocking chair, which had once symbolized my failure, was now a symbol of our healing. I had placed it in the corner of Lily's nursery when she finally allowed me back into her home. And when I looked at it now, I didn't see a symbol of brokenness. I saw the potential for new memories, for new beginnings. My daughter and I had found our way back to each other. It hadn't been easy, but sometimes the hardest journeys are the ones that lead you home.